Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gabriel Marie Bulaklak from Bshm 2B from Group 2, and I'll be discussing feelings in decision making. According to Antonio Damasio, we are not thinking machines that feel but feeling machines that think. So, my question is, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling? Our feelings such as love, anger, guilt, or happiness play a major role in our daily decision making. When we face moral dilemmas, emotions act as internal guides. For instance, guilt might stop us from doing something wrong, while compassion can move us to help others. However, emotion can also mislead us. Acting out of anger may lead to unfair or harmful choices. Thus, the key is balancing emotion with reason, listening to what we feel, but thinking carefully before acting. Think before you act. What are these examples? So we have three examples: positive, negative, and balance examples. So positive use of emotion: feeling empathy for someone in need and deciding to help them. Negative use of emotion: acting out of jealousy or anger and making unfair judgments. Balance example: feeling hurt but choosing to forgive after thinking calmly. So the question is, how do emotion affect moral decision? How your emotion affect your moral decisions? So the answer is they shape our moral reasoning, sometimes helping us choose compassion and justice, but other times leading to bias or impulsive actions. So are feelings more powerful than logic in decision making? Yes, so research shows that most of our choices start from emotion. Logic simply help us explain or justify them afterward. Can emotions be trained to make better decisions? Absolutely. Through self-awareness and reflection, we reflect to ourselves, so we can learn to recognize emotions and use them wisely instead of letting them control us. So before I end my discussion, I have a closing quote for you. Never let your emotion overpower your intelligence, by the singer Drake. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, next, let's move to advantages and disadvantages of emotional decision making. So, first, the advantages. First is fast decision. A totally emotional decision is a very fast in comparison to a rational decision. A rational decision is like systematic or ginapaminsargid. So it means emotional choices happen quickly and can save us in emergency or simple situations. For example, if a car is coming, fear makes you move instantly without thinking. It's like a instinct. Second, use of experience. Emotions store past experiences guiding like gut feeling decision. So it means emotions store past experiences so they help us respond accurately without overthinking. For example, a doctor or firefighter may sense danger or illness even before analysis. Next, number 3. Helps logic. So decisions that start with logic may need emotion to enable the final selection. So when two choices are almost equal, emotion push us to make the final decision. For example, choosing between two jobs with the same pay. So your emotion push you towards one. Next, 4. Last of and advantages. Sometimes accurate. So emotion often drives us in direction conflicting with self-interest. It means sometimes emotion push us to do things that don't directly benefit us but are still good or meaningful. Meaningful. For example, helping a friend even when it costs you personal loss. That's all in advantages. So next is disadvantages. First, quick but not logical. So we make quick decision without knowing why. Like being fast can also be bad if it's done without thinking. For example, buying an expensive item because of excitement, then later making excuses like I needed it. Next, number two, too strong emotions. Intensity of emotions can override rational decision making. Like strong emotion like anger or fear can overpower logic. For example, quitting a job suddenly because of anger even if you have no backup plan. Next is number 3, wrong influence from unrelated emotions. So unrelated emotions distort decisions causing mistakes. So ang emotion from another situation can affect new decision unfairly. For example, being upset from a breakup might cause reckless spending or risky action. Last, and disadvantages. Future feelings are misjudged. So, we often mispredict our future feelings, which can lead to wrong decisions. So, people often misjudge how they feel later. For example, a student may choose a course thinking it will make them happy and excited forever. But but later they realize it's stressful and not what they enjoy. That's all. Thank you.
Moral statement. Moral statement as expression of feelings. A moral statements or values mere expression of feelings as claimed by the linguistic philosopher. According to some linguistic philosopher called emotivists, the statement stealing is wrong is not a statement of fact. It is an expression of a desire or emotion. The rule of maxim, stealing is wrong, means I desire that you do not steal. An emotional statement is not very verifiable like factual statement. Pedro stole my car is verifiable. Verifiable can be established by evidence, but Pedro's act of getting my cat is morally wrong, which is equivalent to I desire that Pedro should not steal is not verifiable. The following examples explains this ethical theory. The theory of moral statement as expression of feelings, also known as emotivism, suggests that when people make moral judgments, they are not stating fact, but rather expressing their emotions or personal attitudes towards something. For example, when someone says stealing is wrong, they are not describing an objective truth that can be proven by evidence. Instead, they are expressing a negative feeling or a disapproval toward stealing. Unlike factual statement such as Pedro stole my car, which can be verified through evidence, moral statement reflect personal emotion and cannot be proven true or false. For example, kung makita ka sang teacher nga cheat ya student, makita sang teacher nga cheat ya student during exam, kag and kag kung ang teacher mahambal nga cheating is wrong, this statement doesn't describe a fact that can be tested or measured. It is just gina-express lang sang teacher ang iya feeling nga wala siya gasang-ayon sa cheating. Some people might say might disagree or agree, but both are just expressing their factual claims. This shows na according to emotion, moral language serves to express emotion and influence others' attitude rather than stating objective truth. State objective truths.
Emotivism is a theory that suggests moral statements that do not express subjective truth. Instead, they reflected the speaker's emotional attitudes. For instance, when someone says murder is wrong, they are not stating the fact. They are expressing their disapproval of murder. This means that moral statements are more like emotional expressions than factual claims. Imagine someone saying stealing is bad. According to emotivism, this statement is not about an objective truth regarding stealing, rather, it shows the speaker's negative feelings about it. They are essentially saying that I disapprove of stealing. According to emotivists like A.G. Ayer and Charles Stevenson, when someone says that was wrong, they are not stating a truth that can be proven or disproven. Instead, they're showing their disapproval, much like saying boo or I disagree, something like that. So, ethical language doesn't describe the world but shows how we feel about actions or behaviors. Since emotions aren't true or false, ethical claims can be verified as right or wrong, just agreed with or felt differently about like taste. So another example, if a person like saying na, you were wrong to steal the money, ang emotivist naman niya would say this really means something like boo to stealing or I disapprove of stealing. So it's a statement of fact like you took the money, but an emotional reaction you can disagree with.
Great morning, everyone. My name is Joanne Ichanharki, and this is the continuation of the reporting of Clement. So, in law, we can say that someone committed a crime. We can verify it using evidences. For example, one act of stealing is wrong. To prove this in court, the law looks for facts. Did one take someone else's property? Did he take it without consent? If both are true, then it's fact that thief is occurred. In other words, the truth of the legal statement can be proven or disproven using evidences. Now, what if we try to use the same logic for a moral statement like stealing is wrong? Can we prove that statement the same way? Can we show evidence that stealing is wrong, not just it happened? This is where the problem appears. A moral statement doesn't describe a fact, but expresses a value or belief. You can't measure or test wrongness in the same way you can test whether someone took property. So, even if we prove that someone did steal, that doesn't automatically prove the moral statement, stealing is wrong. The passage mentioned emotivism, a theory in ethics. According to emotivists, when people make a moral statement like stealing is wrong, they're not describing facts. Instead, they are expressing emotions or attitudes. So, saying stealing is wrong really means something like, I disapprove of stealing or don't steal. These are expressions of feelings, not statements that can be proven true or false. That's why the passage says, it does not make statement stealing is wrong as a factual statement. At the end of the passage, Aristotle's quote is introduced, anyone can get angry, that is easy. But to do this to the right person, to the right extent, at the right time, with the right motive, and the right way, that is not easy. This connects emotion to morality. Aristotle's message is that being moral isn't about having no emotions, it's about controlling and directing them properly. A moral person manages feelings wisely. They don't let emotions take over, but also don't suppress them completely.
Reason conduct the study, research, investigation, and fact-finding. It uses logic, the principle of consistency, avoid fallacious reasoning to come up with a truthful and accurate precision. In a research study, the product or work of reason is the body of fact gathering, organize, synthesize, and evaluate. The job of the will is to make a decisive conclusion. Ang reason naman isang gakandak sa mga research, investigation, kag pagpangita sa mga matuod nga bagay nga ginagamit sa mga gusto nga pangatungran prinsipyo sang pagkasinsiho. Kagamon isang isa ka research study ang kabunga o kon obra sang panghuna-huna amo na ang hugpong sa mga kamautoraan nga kimpang tipon kaging pang-organisa kaging patuhoy kaging evaluate. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Rizal Amor de la Cruz and now I will tackle about the will. What is the will? The will is the part of your minds that helps you make choices to say yes or no. So, it's what's allow you to decide what you really want instead of just following others. Example, you choose to study instead playing games because you decided that education is more important. So, decision making is an activity of the will. It's how we practice our will by choosing between options. Children should learn to make decisions early in life. Example, a child decides whether to eat rice or bread for breakfast. The small choice already helps that learn to decide. Jean-Paul Sartre, a French philosopher, said that being human means having the freedom to choose. Sartre believed that what makes us truly human is our ability to make our own choices in life. So, decision making is a part of our will, our power to choose. From small choices to big ones, decisions help shape our character, freedom, and identity. Education and society should help us learn to think, choose, and decide for ourselves. Thank you.
Free will is the ability to choose freely between different actions according to Hernedo, 1972. True freedoms come from having strength, energy, and power physically, mentally, and economically. Example, biskan pa sila nga pwede ka magkadto biskan diin, pero kung wala ka man pamasay o kung maglakat, hindi ka man gyapon matuod nga malaya. Gani ang kalayaan dapat may upod nga physical, emotional, kag financial nga kusog. Kung kulang kasi na limitado gyapon ang imo nga kalayaan. Freedom is not just the absence of obstacles, it's required to ability to act. A person is truly free if they have the strength to move, speak, and live independently in all aspect. Ang punto sang tsakto amo na ang paghilway, hindi lang basta wala ka sang balagpag, kundi dapat may tsansa ka man nga himuon ang gusto mo sa imo kaugalingon.
Good day everyone, I am Jennifer Balyaras and today I will be discussing the courage to be based on the ideas of Soren Kierkegaard and Paul Tillich. Purity of heart is to will one thing, says by Soren Kierkegaard. So having a pure heart means focusing on one true purpose in life. To will one thing requires courage to stay true to what we believe in. For example, a student who dreams of becoming a chef one day continues to study and work hard despite the challenges. So, according to the idea of Paul Tillich, courage is a self-affirmation in spite of. So, courage means accepting yourself despite of weaknesses or fears. It is the affirmation of being in spite of non-being. It means saying yes to life even when it is difficult or painful. So, this show the courage in daily life. For example, a drug addict who chooses to change show courage to live a new life. Next is a student who fails but keep trying again show courage to rise up. Next is a person who accepts themselves despite the imperfections show real courage. The beauty of courage. Courage is affirming the world despite its pain and problems. It is believing that life is still worth living. As the Siddhartha says, with all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Even life is full of lies, pain, and failures, the world remains beautiful if we have the courage to see the good in it.